Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. My name is Andrew Kent, the Data Badger, and this is the Data Badger Show. I've got a great guest today, Luigi Güereca. He is an expert, in my mind, at networking. I see him all over the place. As I mentioned to him on our session, if there's an event in the OC in Orange County, he's definitely the first one they invite. He's everywhere. I wanted to get into how he does that. How do you network? Give us some advice for those of us who need to get out and do a little more networking. I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Data Badger Show. I've got a fantastic guest today in Luigi. He and I have known each other online for quite a few years now. He's always on LinkedIn, has a great presence. We've not yet met in person. He was this close to making it to the University of Florida eDiscovery Conference later this month. Things have come up. Hopefully he'll be in town here in Nashville for the ILTACon later this year. But Luigi, thank you for coming on this show. I appreciate it. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself and how you got into this industry?
Absolutely, Andrew. By the way, thank you for having me on the Data Badger Show. It's an absolute pleasure to be a single digit guest. So then I can be, hey, I was one of the first ones to be on the show before it got big and everybody learned about it. So it's an absolute pleasure. But
Yeah, you're definitely on. You definitely made it on before it got cool. I'll give you that. So thank.
which, by the way, I'm a big fan because I was watching Emily's episode from a couple of days ago, and great interview. So that's a pretty big task to follow and act like Emily because she's such a great individual, both in on the show and on LinkedIn and anywhere and everywhere she goes, you hear people ranting and raving about how great she is. So it's an absolute pleasure. But to answer your question, I got involved in the industry. I always wanted to be in the legal field. As a child, I wanted it to be an attorney. I actually wanted to attend the University of Florida Law School. I don't know why or how that came about, but I just remember I wanted to go to Florida. Maybe because it was a gator, and thought that was pretty cool since kids like dinosaurs and gators. But anyway, I wanted to be in the legal field as an attorney, but life didn't pan out that way. Maybe because I did mock trial and I was an attorney and I saw how much work it was, or whatever the case was. But I had a lot of fun doing mock trial. But then when I got married, I was like, hey, um, in the running industry. I was a runner back then, and I did a lot. I was like, I need to pivot my career to something that I've always wanted to do that's going to definitely help provide. So I looked into the paralegal programs here in Orange County, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go to Santa Ana College, do their paralegal program there, and get my paralegal certificate so I can work in the legal field. But again, life happened. I got married. There was an adjustment period of being married, starting a family. Then my son was born, and I was just having too much fun with being a dad. And then in 2019, I was like, hey, you know what? I have to do it. I cannot delay this further. So, fall of 2019, I enroll at Santa Ana College, start taking classes to be a paralegal. Then as we know, 2020 hits COVID, and spring 2020 we go virtual because everything is shut down. I get COVID, my wife gets COVID, we get sick, so I kind of had to stop going for the semester. But I was like, hey, I'm gonna go back in fall or in the summer. But again, COVID and all that stuff. So I didn't end up doing anything until spring of 2022 after following some individuals on LinkedIn and some Santa Ana College grads or alumni from the paralegal program. That motivated me to go back to school and finish it, especially with the ABA having the strict rule of 5 years that you got to complete the program at 5 years. Otherwise, you're going to have to redo whatever is outside that 5 year threshold. So, 2022 spring, I get back on it, get it done, or start getting it done, and I earned my paralegal certificate and my AA from Santa Ana College. spring of 2023. So since then, I've been kind of just rocking and rolling on LinkedIn. And luckily, I've been fortunate enough that Santa Ana College has great instructors that provide you the tools to go ahead and become successful. Whether you just want to, hey, show up to work, do a great job, be an outstanding individual, or if you want to do the networking stuff like myself. Uh, there's just different ways of doing things. Thanks to Santa Ana College and the legal industry here in Orange County and the Orange County Paralegal Association that helped encourage me to do a lot of the things that I'm currently doing in the legal industry.
That's awesome. I often call myself the unofficial mascot of Waffle House. Every time I see WFH, I think it must mean Waffle House and I should go there. I know you are somewhat the unofficial mascot of Santa Ana. Can you walk kind of what does that program mean to you? I know they offered you a lot of opportunities that you were really grateful for.
Yeah, definitely. Before I get into Santa Ana College, I want to go ahead and second your Waffle House because I've been out to South Carolina twice back in 2018 and then was it 2018? Yes, 2018 and then in 2023. And both times I had to go to the Waffle House. And on those two occasions, the Waffle House was everything that it's sold to be. Granted, the food, some of the characters, the individuals there working are some of the best. They are colorful individuals that just made the experience fun, you know? Luckily, I had a great experience where I didn't see any fights or anything, but I did get a good entertainment from the characters there at the Waffle House. But to answer your, go ahead. It seems like you have a Waffle House anecdote or something.
I've never seen any fights there. I know Jim Gaffigan has some comedy about that wonderful establishment that I don't agree with, even though he is a great comedian. But I'll give you a little bit. This is kind of the inside scoop. I have Donut Fan on my LinkedIn profile. It's the thing most people talk to me about because I do love donuts. I like waffles more. My issue is when I eat a donut, I just want more donuts. When I eat a waffle, I'm ready to go. And I am planning on at the University of Florida e-discovery conference coming up here at the end of February. I'm planning on doing a Data Badger session from the Waffle House. I'll see if they kick us out. If they kick us out, we're going to do it from the parking lot. But I've got a great guest that has agreed to do a late night. I'm open like midnight when they're not too busy. A late night Waffle House session of the Data Badger show. So that's one to mark your calendars for.
Ooh, man, now I'm really having FOMO because that would be great to have a Waffle House session of the Data Badger show on the road. That would be spectacular. And now that you're teasing on a guest, I'm like, ooh, maybe I I should be like, all right, Dad, I'll catch you later.
There are plenty of Waffle Houses here in Nashville as well. So if you do come to Ilticon, maybe we'll do a secondary if it goes well, or if it goes poorly, we might just do it again. But I'm sorry. So Santa Ana College.
No, but let me add, the Waffle House is spectacular because I'm in Orange County, or right down the street from Disneyland, so I'm Mickey Mouse's neighbor. I've actually looked it up to see what the closest Waffle House is to me. So if you're in Orange County or anywhere in Southern California, just know that the closest Waffle House is in Arizona, in Phoenix. And granted, you can either fly or drive. I love driving. So I'm like, oh, I do love driving. So that's a nice trip out there. And my wife has family out in Arizona. So I'm like, kill two birds with one stone, make that drive and get me some Waffle House while my wife visits her family.
When I
So,
lived in Annapolis, nearest Waffle House was probably like an hour and a half away or something. It was on the other side of Baltimore and just keep on going. We used to find us there all the time. We used to go up there just to go to Waffle House and turn around because Waffle House has something that a lot of places don't. I know I do feel like I'm shilling for them. This is the truth. Waffle House, Waffle House is authentic. Waffle House is real. It's not trying to be fancy. It's not trying to be something it's not. The Waffle House is Waffle House. Every single time, you mentioned there's characters there. There's always characters at the Waffle House. It always has a certain look to it, except for that one in Atlanta for some reason that's way different than everyone else. But I feel like, these days, people are taking things like macaroni and cheese that are delicious in its simplicity and putting, rare shaved mushrooms and fresh cheese. They're taking something good and authentic and wholesome and trying to make it fancy. That's the absolute opposite of what the Waffle House is. The Waffle House is Waffle House. It's nothing else. It's just good Waffle House. And if you're looking for something, fancy, you got to keep on driving. But if you want that, if you're driving down the interstate and it's Christmas, the Waffle House is there for you.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. That's one of my issues that I have with tacos, where some of these establishments are trying to make it all fancy. It's like, bro, it's just a tortilla, carne asada, milanesa, or whatever meat you want with some salsa, cilantro, and onion, and you can call it a day, you know? It's like we don't need to this fancy plate or this fancy presentation, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Leave that
how much
stuff
cabbage do I
I'm sorry, what's that?
how much cabbage do I need in my taco? I feel like they're trying to sell me $6, $7 single tacos with all this cabbage in it and fancy cheese. It's like, no, it's supposed to be real and authentic
Hmm.
and just wholesome.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. Maybe that's why, even though I'm out in California, that's why I enjoy the Waffle House so much because it's something plain and simple. They're not trying to sell you a ambience. They're like, hey, here's the food and it's gonna be affordable and come in, come out. We're here for you anytime you want, even if there's a hurricane. So I completely agree with you with the Waffle House, which in legal tech or in the legal industry, we can definitely learn a lot from them on how to build a brand and a following. Which to some extent, you've definitely built a brand as a data badger. But to answer
Yeah,
your qu
I try
go ahead.
my own
Sorry.
all star special. Try to do my version of the Waffle House All Star Special on here for sure.
Yeah, that that would be awesome. But going back to sorry to get on this tangent about the Waffle House. As you can see, I'm a food connoisseur. But to answer your question as to Santa Ana College being very meaningful for me is the fact that it's the oldest paralegal program here in Orange County. The college itself, it's one of the oldest colleges or community colleges here in California. So it has a long established history of even either being the first or just the programs that it has that it has. So I went there. Also, I grew up in Santa Ana. I was born and raised in Santa Ana, so it kind of has that hometown feel. It's as if, for instance, if you would have been born and raised by the University of Wisconsin, that's your home school. Because I know you're a big Wisconsin Badgers individual.
I do
So
support the women's as much as I can. We don't do football anymore. We got out of that sport, but women's hockey we're still the best at. So let's go, girls.
there you go. They go girl sports. But Santa Ana College has that deep meaning for me, yeah, on a personal level and a professional level. So I went there. I initially was just going to be, hey, I'm going to sit down, learn what I need to learn, and call it a day. But somehow, some way, I connected with some individuals in that intro paralegal class, which I always tell Kai, who was the instructor for that class and who's also involved in the Orange County Paralegal Association, where I tell her, hey, your Para 100 class that fall of 2019 was stacked with individuals who ended up doing something of great significance or are doing something of great significance in the legal industry. It's kind of like the what was it, the 83 or 84 NFL draft where it was Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, and that was just stacked with Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I forget what class, and I'm sure someone's gonna make correct us on that. So my apologies for not remembering the exact draft class, but I do consider that Para 100 class very similar to it, where you have an individual of Kevin who coincidentally played minor league baseball for the Reds and the Braves, and is has been a corporate paralegal for Uber, for Tesla or SpaceX, I forget which of those two. And he's just doing some great stuff. Then you have Min, who, if you're connected on LinkedIn and are in Southern California, you know Min because he knows anybody and everybody. I don't know how that guy sleeps, but he is involved in everything. He's doing triathlons, running marathons on public access TV on, I forget if it's a Vietnamese or Korean station out here in Orange County. And so he does it like once a week or several times a week. And then he's doing some legal stuff here and there. And then he's doing some medical stuff here and there. So he's all over the place. Then you have, I'm forgetting the gal's name, but she works for an immigration association where they help immigrants, and she's doing great stuff as well. And you have Jose, who's out at Monster, doing exceptional stuff as a paralegal out there for them. And you have a couple of other people kind of scattered up and down the state where they're doing exceptional stuff. So I was just blessed to be in a room full of outstanding people that helped me elevate what I was projecting to do in the legal industry. So that's one of the reasons why I'm very thankful for Santa Ana College, because they provided that atmosphere to go ahead and elevate your education and and the profession that way. So I connected with several of the instructors there and still connect with them. Even though I've graduated, I reach out to them if I have any inquiries, or like, hey, let me bounce this idea off of you, or like, what do you think about this or that? And they're graciously always responding. Granted, it might not be immediate, but they're always gracious enough to continue the conversation and give me different perspectives. Then you have Professor Smith and Professor Robinson, who've turned the paralegal program there at Santa Ana College from just a AA in paralegal studies to the first in the nation to offer the paralegal program with a BA. Because out here in California, uh, like 10 years ago, give or take, they allowed community colleges to provide BAs or offer BAs, but with certain restrictions. And luckily, Robinson and Smith were able to see that, hey, a paralegal BA is something that there isn't really offered at the four-year institution. And they saw that gap and were like, hey, let's go ahead and provide this for our students. So they're doing exceptional stuff with that. And then Smith also has her her, her guidance at Clerk, which is a clinic that provides both alumni and current students the opportunity to volunteer at these different clinics to build up the experience with the resume, whether it's filling out the N400 form, which is the USCIS for individuals that are green card holders to move to the next step to becoming citizens. So then they can start that process. Then there's an expungement clinic that they have every semester, where those individuals that, granted, might have made some mistakes years ago or in their youth and have turned it around, are trying to go ahead and make improvements on their life by getting a better job or just expunging something that happened 20 years ago that was a child, a teenage mistake, and are being held back by it to go ahead and fill out the form. Granted, it's all with attorney supervision, and so we do that kind of stuff.
And let me ask you, Luigi, it sounds
Mhm.
fantastic. If somebody wants to help this clinic, or if somebody needs the services of this clinic, how should they get into contact with them? Because I'm sure with most clinics, they're always available to accept some help.
Yeah, definitely. If you like, I can provide you the link. They have an intake form where you go ahead and fill it out, and they'll reach out to you to go ahead and see what they can assist with, whether it's a clinic that's upcoming, such as an expungement, immigration clinic, or one of the ones that just recently happened this past weekend, where it's the SAC means business, where they provided attorney speakers on how to start your own business, with people starting up their own business here in Southern California since the pandemic with food and all that stuff. They provided them the know-how or the guidance on how to go ahead and get those permits, how to maintain the tax the tax and licensing for it, that kind of stuff. So they provided that kind of that that know-how. But I can definitely provide you the link for the intake form. And then, for the individual that might want to reach out and get some guidance or whatnot, then they can fill it out and be contacted.
And does the clinic have a specific name? Is there a name separate than the college?
Yes. So the clinic, give me one second. Let me look that up because I always, even though I've been doing it, I can never remember it for the life of me. But give me one second. So it's the acronym is CLERC. So it's Community Legal Information Resource and Referral Clinic. And they also
Awesome. That
have
should
a,
make it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said that should make it easy for people. I appreciate that. We'll
Yeah,
put the link in
definitely.
as well.
And if they're on if the individual is on Instagram, they do have an Instagram page. It's clerk CLIRR_SAC. And there is going to be a link to that intake form as well.
Awesome. And then you showed in your conversation one of the things I've always admired about you. I graduated from law school 22 years ago now. It's been years since I talked to anybody that I actually knew in law school. You've been really great at keeping up with people, building that network. For those of us who are kind of, inspired and who are looking to build their network, what are some of the tips that they can do? Share with us what it is they can do to start getting their networking rolling in a meaningful way like you've done.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of follow the same rule that I learned, and now I'm applying that I learned when I was going through the paralegal program there at Santa Ana College, where we had discussion boards. And whether it was something that we had to analyze or give our opinion about a video that we watched or the reading, something of that nature, where the instruction was either when you're responding to one or two of your peers, classmates there, it's either provide something meaningful that you learn from their post, adding to their post, or if you have an inquiry on something that they mention, provide that. So that's the rule of three that I follow on people's posts on LinkedIn. So that's how we kind of met, you and I, if I remember correctly, because I forget who we were constantly responding to their in the comment section, and you reached out and you're like, "Hey, I want to connect with you." And since then, you and I connect where you'll post your polls, which I always look forward to because they're pretty interesting uh in regards to it. If I remember correctly, one of your polls was the bagel one, if I remember correctly. But you provide
Are we
that.
talking about this hot dog poll?
Oh, yes, the hot dog poll. Yes, and your polls can definitely get a little intense with people being very passionate about their opinions or their thought process. But it's always great because you have that friendly banter or that insightful banter that you're like, oh wow. And so that's how I apply what I learned as a student, where if someone posted their very passionate pro, hey, is what constitutes a hot dog, and you're like, I never thought about it that way. And so I'll post about it, be like, hey, I never thought about it, and then break it down, and or be like, hey, I disagree with you, and then you provide the reasoning why. But again, that discussion board post as a student, for those that are students and listening, definitely take that discussion board posting, whether you're posting yourself or replying to your classmates, take it very seriously because that's going to help you in life. And it's a way to hone in on that craft of interpersonal skills, but virtually on LinkedIn. And
Mhm.
also when you're in the office and you're replying to other paralegals, other legal professionals, or even partners, you have that ability to be like, hey, Mr. Partner, I'm sorry, we can't do it this way, but we can do it this other way. And instead of pissing them off by saying no, you're providing them an alternative that, hey, I can't do this due to our rules and regulations, but here's the alternative. This is the workaround, which is something also that I learned from working in retail, which I'm dating myself, but I worked at Sears and then at JCPenney, which was a really fun experience to work in my 20s. And that's how I learned how to diffuse a situation, how to work with difficult individuals or people who have this high expectation of what they need and want. And unfortunately, the due to rules and regulations or some other constraint, you can't give them exactly what they want. But hey, I can't give you this cup of water here, but I can give you this mug. How about that? You know? So it's one of those give and takes that you learn, and you gotta apply yourself and learn how to how to utilize it.
Absolutely. I always say it's kind of like ad lib comedy. You never say no. You never close it. You never look defensive. You never give them something to fight against. You say yes and you acknowledge what they need and you redirect them to the right choice in a way that they don't feel like they're being, have their hands slapped or they're just having you say no to them.
Absolutely. Or the joke in the legal field of what does an attorney always say? It depends.
But on that note, the three items, great advice there. So obviously you've accomplished a lot and you have big goals. What is your next goal in terms of, what does the next year, the next five, the next 10 see for Luigi?
Within the next 2 to 3 years, hopefully earn my BA from Santa Ana College because again, they're offering that BA in paralegal studies or legal studies. So that's one of my short-term goals. So I can mark that off and be like, hey, I got a 4-year degree. And me being the 90s kid that I am, and the hyper competitive individual that I am with my cousins, I definitely would like to get a master's because two or three of my cousins have a master's. So then I could at least be at that level with them as well. But that whole master's thing, that's kind of up in the air, but at least the BA, get that. And definitely break into the legal industry as a paralegal because right now I'm a billing specialist. And so as much as I'm learning, as much as I enjoy that position and everything, within the next 5, 10 years, I would definitely like to be a paralegal. As to what kind of paralegal, I don't know yet. I just kind of leave it up to life because we all have a plan and life can have different plans. That's how I met my wife as well. I had a different plan and somehow life brought me to her and life brought her to me and yeah, so those would be my some of my goals in the next 3 to 10 years and just continue being uh, an individual on LinkedIn that's always networking and getting life experiences because those life experiences are always the best when someone's like, "Hey, let's do this or that." I'm like, "I'm in."
Absolutely. And like I said, you are always at all the OC events. I know you are the first invitation that anybody sends out clearly. And we appreciate all the times you let us in. You let us see what you're doing, you let us find out about these events, especially for those of us who are a long ways away. It's great when you throw up those summaries and kind of let us get introduced to all the people. So, Luigi, I thank you again for being on this show. I really do. It's been fantastic. If you're not following Luigi, we'll have obviously we'll have him linked here. So go ahead and do so. Before we make a run for it, because I know we get long on these shows, anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, definitely. So one piece of advice that I would give any individual in the legal industry, whether you're a student and making a career pivot or just a long time individual in the legal industry, definitely get out there and network. Be genuine about your networking because it's always great to connect with individuals and always being genuine definitely helps out. You don't want to be that individual that just goes out to those events and sees what people can offer them and just be that type of individual. No, it's like build those meaningful relationships because you and I have never met in person. We've only met through LinkedIn and now through the Data Badger show. And I feel we've definitely built a deep and meaningful relationship where we're already planning on meeting, whether it's at next year's UF Law e-discovery summit or the ILTACon or any other event that is coming up, within the next year or two. Definitely get out there and make those connections because, like I tell my son, shake as many hands as you can because you never know which of those hands might be able to help you as well, or you might be able to help those individuals as well.
I love what you said about being authentic and genuine. I see a lot of people out there who make an effort and do some networking, or really it applies to anything, but they don't really want to do it. They don't really care about it. So they don't follow up. They don't do the things they need to do to grow the plant. They just put the seeds in and then walk off. Just do things you're genuine about. Just do things you care about and they'll go well. The things you don't care about, just brush them aside, honestly. If this isn't the way you go about things, find the way that's real to you.
No, I agree with you. And mind you, I'm a very shy individual, but I love the legal industry so much that I'm like, hey, I'm putting that shyness to the side and I'm gonna go out there and learn as much as I can. And that's another thing that, I guess it's two things that I wanna touch upon is definitely go out there and learn as much as you can because there's so much information, especially in the tech aspect of the legal industry because yes, you might learn this and you might go ahead and use this just for the profession, but some of those things are going to be useful for you on a personal level because everything that we have is starting to get some kind of technology. Even our washing machines are smart devices now, or even coffee makers. So definitely have that knowledge of technology because you don't want to be a dinosaur. You don't want to become extinct. You got to evolve.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Great advice. Follow this man. You're going to learn a lot. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everyone.